Hi guys, thank you for tuning in. I want to pop on to do this segment today solely on my own for various reasons. One, this is obviously dear to my heart, being I'm an ethnic background, I'm South Asian, and I work in HR. I've had multiple conversations, but recently, just today, someone has told me about a situation where their resume was rejected simply based on their ethnic full name. When they sent the same resume with an American, Canadian, English name, wasn't rejected. So I wanted to come on and talk about this because, so many companies out there want to talk about diversity and inclusion and all these buzzwords that's happening right now. But how many companies do this every single day? Every single day. You're rejecting people, rejecting resumes solely based on an individual's name. And the reason I want to address this is, first of all, this topic is very dear and close to my heart because I'm a South Asian. I'm an ethnic. I have an ethnic. My name is an ethnic Punjabi, which is pronounced Gurpreet. And me myself, being born and raised in Canada, I have, adapted the Canadian/American way of saying my name for all these years. And recently I'm correcting myself too. I've been told many times to change my name, or what's the simple version of your name. I know people who've changed the names and started seeing results on their resumes, including my sister, simply because people couldn't pronounce her name, Prabjeet. So she goes by a nickname, Sonia. She started using that. Now, the reason I want to come on and talk about this is this has been happening for years. And not everybody is fortunate like me who didn't want to change your name because, coming from a South Asian family, I live with my parents. So, I didn't have that issue. I easily can say, no, I don't want to change my name. If you want to hire me, sure, great. Hire me based on my name. If you want to reject me because you can't pronounce my name, because I'm Indian, my name is Indian, South Asian, and you don't want to speak with me, that is your loss. That was my attitude. But not everyone has that luxury. Not everyone can do that. And that's the sad reality. I know so many people that are changing their names because people can't pronounce their name. The minute they change their name on their resume, they've seen results. I know this. I'm not denying this for 1 second. But today, when this was brought to in one of my conversations with somebody, I want to speak on this because why is this still happening? In the light of, especially because so many companies last year openly came out and started talking about diversity, started hiring, because of the Black Lives movement matter. But where is the diversity? I don't see it. I still don't see it because people are still getting rejected by their names, and people are forced to change their names. Why? Why? Okay, I'm HR. I can't pronounce a candidate's name. Does not mean that I am not going to call this candidate at all. I am calling this candidate. I've never, ever not called a candidate just because I can't pronounce their name. Instead, what did I do? I try to pronounce it and I say, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Please tell me how to pronounce your name. Let me know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It is never, in 15 plus years of my HR career, it has never stopped me from contacting a candidate just because of their name. But not everyone's like me. And I can do this because I'm also South Asian, right? I'm a person of color. And because I know these obstacle and changes, I'm not going to do this to somebody else. But so many people are doing this. So many recruiters, talent acquisition specialists, HR is doing this every single day, rejecting candidates simply because of the name, simply because they can't pronounce the name, simply because it's a name that they can't recognize. Why? Why are you rejecting candidates because you can't pronounce their name? Why are you rejecting candidates because their name is not American name? Why is this happening in today's day and age? I want to know. I want to know, why is this happening? Okay? So if there's recruiters, you know who you are. You know who you are. If anybody's gonna tell me that they've never rejected a candidate, only I can say this, and other South Asian or other people of color can say this, that they've never rejected somebody based on the name. But I want to know if there's any HR, talent acquisition specialists, or recruiters out here that can have an open conversation with me. I want to know why you're doing this. But then we want to talk about diversity all day long on LinkedIn. All day long. So it'll be almost a year since this whole movement has happened, and so many companies are adapting diversity and so quick to post about, we've hired this person in this position, but the core issue is not being solved. Core issues still exist. You can put any label on your website and say you're a diversified company, but you're not, and you are all about diversity, but you're not if you're still rejecting candidates simply based on their names. That is not you being diversity and inclusion. So I call this out. I'm calling every single company out today. I'm calling you out. I'm calling all recruiters out. I'm calling all talent acquisition specialists out. I'm calling all HR out. Shame on you. Shame on every HR, shame on every recruiter, and shame on every talent acquisition specialist that has merely rejected a candidate simply because they can't pronounce their name. Shame on you. Shame on you. You do not deserve to be in that role. You do not deserve to be recruiting. You do not deserve to be sourcing candidates because your bias is being impacted. You are you are being discriminated towards individuals whose names you can't pronounce. This is discrimination. And I'm calling you out on live. Yes, I came on today to do this because this is dear to my heart. I am a person of color. And you know what? I didn't change my name. I didn't. But not everyone has that luxury that I had. Not everyone has that luxury. It's so sad that people have to change their names just to get an interview. Why? Why? But you want to sit on LinkedIn and talk about diversity? Every single HR person in the last year that's talked about diversity, but yet still rejects candidates because they can't pronounce their names? What the hell? But then you want to talk about diversity? And I said this over and over and over and over again in the past year. Diversity, if you really want to implement diversity, look in the mirror because it starts with you. How many people have been rejected because of their ethnic backgrounds? How many people, I'm going to go even further now, how many newcomers in Canada are being rejected simply because they have no Canadian experience? Well, no kidding, Sherlock. Of course they don't have Canadian experience because they're new to the country. But experience is experience. Experience is experience. It doesn't matter what country someone got the experience. Experience is experience. But we're discriminating. I'm not, but you are. You know who you are. You know who you are. Those same people, if you are discriminating against people of color, names, someone, no Canadian experience, it's discrimination. I encourage you to look up the laws because you are daily discriminating against individuals. And then we want to talk about diversity. Shame on you. Shame on you. And this is a problem in the corporate world because companies employ all these individuals for the namesake to look like they're diversified, but they're not. They're not diversified in any sense. Or you are hiring people who present themselves as they're not, like, they're all for diversity, they don't discriminate, and blah, 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 blah. But then when they're in those positions and then they're doing it, who's going to find out? Who's actually going to find out that, let's say it was me, right? Who's going to find out I'm rejecting candidates because I can't pronounce individuals' names? Or because the name is not American. So, well, I don't want this candidate. Who's going to find out? I know somebody in another company one time was discriminating against age, sex, and nobody found out. Or they kind of had an idea, but just turned a blind eye. So if you know this is happening and you're turning a blind eye, shame on you too. Shame on you. So what are we going to do? I want to know. What are you going to do? All the companies out there, especially Fortune 500 companies, have this big issue. You're forcing people to change their name, but then you want to campaign and act like you're the champion about diversity? No, you're not. If you are rejecting candidates and forcing candidates to change the name just to get an interview, you're not anything close to a diversified company. You don't stand for diversity. You definitely don't stand for inclusion. And I'm going to say you're racist. Straight out, you're racist. You're discriminating against people simply based on the name. So I'm going to, if anybody wants to hop on and have a candid conversation with me, I'm happy to drop a link. If there's any recruiters or HR, talent acquisition specialists, or senior executives that want to come on my LinkedIn Live, let me know. Open call. This is an open invite. You can hop on right now with me and chat. This is open to anybody that wants to hop on and have an open candid discussion on this. This is real talk I'm doing. Real talk. Okay? Real talk. I don't shy away from calling out people. I don't shy away. I'm not somebody that's gonna turn a blind eye to these things because these things need to be addressed. So many companies are losing out on great talent simply because they're rejecting talent based on name, which is so sad in today's world that this is still happening. This is still happening. Why is it still happening? I want to know. Why is it still happening? Why? Why are candidates being rejected simply because of their name? You're forcing candidates to change the name. I remember my entire corporate life, I've been asked so many times, what's the short version of your name? I said, no, it's Gurpreet. I'm sorry. If I can learn to pronounce Barry, Angelo, Tony, what else? Julia, Laura, all the American names or Canadian names, white names, then why can't you learn to pronounce my name? It's not that hard to learn to pronounce people's name. It's a sign of respect. It's also someone's identity. When you are forcing someone to change their name just so they can get an interview, you're taking their identity away from them. Also, I want to educate on the other side to every single person out there. If a company is not going to call you because of your name and you have to change your name and then they called you, I urge you not to work for that company. Okay, that's a red flag because that's a sign that the company will not respect and individuals of different ethnic backgrounds. That was my attitude. My entire career was I did not change my name. I refuse to change my name. If you are not going to call me for an interview just because you can't pronounce my name, you are a company that I don't want to work for. Okay, same thing went with my not having an HR designation. If you are merely not going to call me because I don't have those letters behind my name for HR designation, that is your loss, because I know I'm a damn good HR person. I'm an expert in my field. And if you choose not to call me because I don't have those credentials, that shows me how small-minded you are. And these things, I want to educate even individuals and career professionals on this, because this is red flags. Company wants to talk about diversity, but what companies out there and HR and talent acquisition specialists, what they don't realize is diversity isn't just about color. Diversity is also the type of people you hire, the diversified backgrounds. If you are rejecting candidates even solely on credentials, that is not you being diversified or you practicing diversity. First, let me correct you on what diversity means. So many companies out there actually don't even know what diversity means at all. So if anybody wants to hop on and have an open conversation, hop on my live right now. I'm dropping the link. Okay, it's open invitation, feel free. So let me go through the comments, because I saw a lot of comments coming through. Karen B, thank you so much for speaking on this. You are welcome. I did that. Proud of you. Thank you, Terry. That is very true. Great topic of discussion. Proud of you. Thank you, Money. So this name is pronounced Money, not Manny. Okay, so let me even correct you on that. That's great that you know who you are and have confidence within yourself. Very good discussion point. Thank you. It should not be happening. Yes, I agree, Terry. It should not be happening, but yet it is happening as we speak. This is the only current scenario in Canada with most of the leading employers. Yes, yes, yes. How many leading companies are doing this? Leading employers, Fortune 500 companies, those big guys are doing this all the time. And it's not even them, it's the people in those positions, right? Talent acquisition, recruiters, corporate recruiters, and HR who's doing this. I'm calling out the frontliners in recruitment who are doing this. It's totally commendable. Thank you. The ones who do not choose you are the ones losing out, not you. Yes, that was my attitude in my entire career. That was my attitude even when I became an entrepreneur. I faced a lot of discrimination solely because of the color of my skin and my name. But that I still kept pushing forward because I know there is a right client out there for me and I'm a right consultant for them. But I understand a lot of people don't have that luxury because your bills needs to be paid. You still need to make a living. And it's sad that companies are forcing people to change their name. That's in one aspect. You're forcing them to change who they are, changing their identity. Your name is your identity. And I don't think any company should do this. I agree. Shame on them. Thank you, Terry, for your support. Government of Canada, stop shouting on that. We are not discrimination at all, while they all know how much it exists. Yes, it exists even the governments. It exists on the public sector as well. Now, there's laws against this, but the thing is, if people are not going to talk on this or report these issues, companies not going to change. But we also need to talk on this, right? That's why I'm doing this, because I've had discussions around this. And today what someone said really motivated me to come on here and do this live, because again, it's dear to my heart. I'm a woman of color. I'm Sikh, Punjabi, born and raised in Canada. But I have also adapted my name to Gurpreet instead of pronouncing it Gurpreet. So I'm correcting myself as well, that my name is pronounced Gurpreet, not Gurpreet. So I'm going to be doing those changes as well. I'm going to start educating people on the right way of pronouncing my name, which is my Punjabi ethnic name. Gurpreet. But it also starts with us. But I had the luxury of not changing my name. I refuse to change my name. That is something that's very rooted in me. I will not change who I am. I will not change my name. I do encourage everybody to adapt this philosophy, but I understand that some people can't because they're not in that luxury position that I was. Thanks, Gurpreet, for talking about the Canadian experience factor. Yes, so many companies are also biased against individuals because they don't have Canadian experience. So many candidates, so many great candidates are being neglected simply over no Canadian experience barrier. I'm fortunate enough that my clients, when I educate them on the whole no Canadian experience barrier, that they actually change their perspective and they don't now. The past 4 or 5 years, the clients I've worked with do not discriminate about no Canadian experience barrier. And that is the position that I hold. I'm able to influence these decisions because I'm HR. And it's my job to do this, right? So I take my job very seriously. And I'm happy to see my clients do not have this phobia about no Canadian experience barrier. Yeah, that's true. Experience is experience, and most funny things. Canadian government approves PR based on back home education experience. And what surprises here that if employer is asking for Canadian experience, what is the rubbish is going on? Yep, rubbish it is. Okay, it also happens in interviews when people ask your religion, Jewish, age. It is who you know, not what you know. And also so many people applying for one job. Yes, so many people are applying for one job, and hence why I'm a career coach and job search. I think the best way to land a job isn't by applying to jobs online. It's not. So though I'm calling out on this is something I want to call it out, and this is where I came out because I'm HR and I hold my profession dear and heart to my soul, and I think that everyone should be acting on an ethical basis, especially in HR. We are frontliners. We should be walking the talk. We shouldn't be calling us champions of diversity if we're not walking the talk. So this is why I'm here to do this discussion, to call out all those individuals in the frontliner spot when it comes to recruitment, talent acquisition, recruiters, and HR. Shame on you if you are rejecting candidates just because of their name. And yes, you are not allowed to ask people's religion or their age or any personal information in an interview at all. And candidates, please be aware that you do not have to disclose this information. The companies just have a mandate and quota to hire people of color to make the team appear to be diversified for corporate photos. Yes. This is actually a very interesting fact that companies, larger organizations do this for brand building. They want to look like they're a diversified company, so they do these photo shoots. They want to keep this whole diversity data, so for numbers purposes, and they probably don't even mean to really want to do it. I've seen this happen as well. I agree. I have worked for customers across US, Europe, APAC, but I'm finding it difficult to get a job in Canada because I don't have Canadian experience. Funny. Yes, it's very funny. So on the flip side, because I'm a career coach and job search coach, I've actually helped newcomers, immigrants land jobs in their field and land amazing salaries. They didn't have to deal with the challenge of no Canadian experience. There's a way to spin this no Canadian experience barrier, and I've been helping candidates for sorry, not candidates. I've been helping individuals overcome this obstacle. There's a way to position yourself so that you don't have to deal with the no Canadian experience barrier. There's a way, there's tons of ways around that as well. I want to come to, this is not an immigration thing. Great, you're talking about something that's turned into a culture in Canada. Okay, so if you have any questions around this, please feel free to write a comment. Happy to answer these questions. But on this note, all I want to say, my ending remarks on this topic is that people need to change, companies need to change. When you are hiring, my message to companies out there is when you're hiring people in HR and recruiters and talent acquisition specialists, you got to do your due diligence here, because we cannot have people in these positions that are discriminating. We just can't. You can't afford to do that. It's a frontline position of the company. It's a first interaction a candidate has with the company. So if you have people in these positions that are discriminating based, like rejecting candidates simply because of their name, what does that say about you, right? Like the individual is also a representation of the company. So be mindful of who you're hiring in these positions. It's so important to hire the right people in the right key positions in the organization. Some people simply just get hired because of their credentials, or they were good in talking, but they don't even know how to do the job properly. And I've seen this happen. I'm in HR, I see everything. But it's so sad. Today I just wanted to come on and talk about this, because I think it's so sad that candidates have to change the name just to get an interview. What world are we living in? So my message to HR recruiters, talent acquisition specialists is, please do not reject candidates based solely on the name. Okay? You can learn to pronounce someone's name. You can call somebody and say, I'm looking for X, and I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. This is what I've done in 15 plus years of my HR career. If I couldn't pronounce the name, I still called the candidate and I simply said, hello, I'm looking for, and I right away said, I'm sorry if I'm unable to pronounce your name correctly, but I'm looking for, and I tried my best to pronounce the name. The candidate, the individual, will correct me if I'm wrong, or will say, no, you got it right. But that shouldn't stop you from calling a great candidate. It shouldn't stop you. So let's do better. HR recruiters and talent acquisition specialists, you need to do better. Let's do better. If we want to change and we want companies to be more diversified, we want no discrimination, we want to champion diversity, then it starts with us as individuals. Okay? And also to my fellow colleagues in HR and talent acquisition and talent acquisitions and recruiters, we are the front liners when it comes to recruitment. So we gotta walk the talk. We gotta be that example. But if we are the ones doing this, then what does that say? How can we hold anybody else accountable if we're doing it? So please, I urge recruiters and talent acquisition specialists and HR, please learn to pronounce people's name. Please don't reject candidates or resumes solely based on names. That is not right. That is the wrong thing to do. And if you are rejecting candidates basically simply because of the name, then I urge you to find a different role. Then you shouldn't be in that position. You shouldn't be in a position that decides who gets interviewed and who doesn't. You shouldn't be in that position. It's not that hard to pronounce people's name in today's day and age. It's called technology. Download a Google Translator app. There's tons of ways to learn today to pronounce people's name. So that shouldn't be an excuse anymore. No one should be rejected based on names. So on that note, I am going to end my live today. I hope this helped somebody. And if anybody needs to reach out to me, feel free to reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. I am also a career coach. GKM Coaching is career coaching and job search coaching. That's my company. And I also do HR consulting company. I do HR consulting work. My company is called HR Superhero. We support small, medium-sized businesses. And this will never happen when we are working with clients We educate our clients. It's our job to educate clients. It's our job to put best practices in place for our clients, small, medium-sized companies. And I'm proud to say that any of our clients that have worked with us in HR Superhero, they don't do this stuff. They don't discriminate. They don't even discriminate based on no Canadian experience. They do take the steps to implement the right processes, the right structures, the right strategies to set them up for success. Now, no company is perfect. Okay, no company is perfect, but taking those steps is the first step. So on that note, I will end this segment. Please stop rejecting candidates solely based on the names. Thank you.